Well, you've probably seen the drama going on in the last couple of hours, and if you have, I've got some more additional information regarding it. I spoke today with someone who knows a lot about these configs and these, I guess you could call them cheats, to be honest with you, and it's actually worse than you think. There's a lot more to the story as to why these cheats, I guess you can say, are actually allowed by Apex, and there's a specific reason as to why. How many people and pro players, you know, might even be using this behind closed doors, who knows? But today we're here to talk about what's going on in the Apex Legends news scene. Of course, if you guys want to stay up to date with all things going on, like the video, subscribe to the channel.
But firstly, I want to let you guys know that I partnered up with Geology to bring you guys this sponsored video.
If you guys are like me, you probably never wash your face, and I normally would just get in the shower and whatever left shampoo I had on my head, I would just scrub it a little bit on my face and say, hey, I washed my face. And I've always had a problem with just random bumps showing up, or, you know, when I shave, I bleed, or my beard never grows in full, and I look like Franklin the Turtle with my, you know, jawline. Look at this. Take us side by side and tell me I don't look like I'm cousins with Vern from Over the Hedge. So by using this stuff and my skin looking a little bit cleaner, and then also my beard coming in a little bit better, now when I step back, look at this, it kind of makes a fake jawline for me. And so it's not that I've ever been super unconfident, but the fact that now I can go out in public, and I honestly, this is no joke, like at Christmas party, I had 2 people tell me that my face looked like my complexion was glowing, I looked glossy, I looked healthy, and then a couple people said my beard looked fuller, and it just feels great. I mean, these are some pictures you could also see from the ALGS channel. I mean, compared to back in the day, I never really wanted to grow it out, and whenever I started getting a lot of compliments as well, then I started growing it out, and you could see how much nicer it looked. I finally looked like a man. I finally look like a dad, kinda. And with their trial set, you can get 70% off and an additional 30% off of everything that you add on to it as well. So that's like over $49 worth of stuff for only like 15 bucks just to try it out. The company's got like 7,000 5-star reviews as well.
And they've even won 29 awards
with nods from like Men's Health and even like Oprah's Daily Grooming Awards as well. Like, they're actually making people believe in this stuff.
The link is down in the description below for you guys to go check out Geology, and thanks once again for them to sponsor today's video.
The first part I want to throw in really quickly, this is unrelated to the video really, but there is a little bit of an update. We are getting 3 Strikes LTM returning tomorrow. We kind of already knew this and it was leaked, but Respawn did finally come out to say if we get 1 like, we will return it tomorrow. So yes, as the Final Fantasy event is ending, we are getting 3 strikes to return. Once again, this is great and I love this mode, but it's not going to save the world, man. We really do need to make sure that the game in general is still getting better as well. So let's talk about this video that originally got released on YouTube but then went viral on Twitter. So this was posted by Triri, and he said this MF made configs for looting, armor swapping, no recoil, neo strafing, super gliding, and turning 180. Like I said, I spoke with someone who knows more about this information, and it does go deeper than that, but the Steam configs, he says, need to be replaced with something else. And if you watch the video, you'll see that the no recoil is literally flawless. And there's also a notion at the top left that says aim assist stays enabled while doing so, and I'll tell you why he actually says this in just a bit. Also, toggle key, turn the recoil on or off. You can literally just toggle in between. There's also another config for specifically neo strafing, which of course has a lot of people aggravated as well. This movement is definitely cheating. Is even another one for armor swapping, and I'm going to tell you how they actually make this work. And the general concept of how the armor swap one works is the same concept that the other ones use, and that specific reason is why it's technically legal even within ALGS rules, because the ALGS rule does not actually cover what this scenario is using. So yes, all these pros could abuse this if they really wanted to, and I really think it needs to come to that so that ALGS will realize, okay, we got to fix this, we got to do something, we got to make this a little bit more robust. But one of the biggest outrages of all of this is also the fact that mouse and keyboard players are saying that controller input is getting worse and worse by the day. Not only are they aggravated about the aim assist that was already in the game, but now they're getting aggravated with all these configs that you can do that make it so much better than mouse and keyboard as well. The video goes on with some other configs that you can see, like the super gliding and such, but the really big thing here is to note that it's not actually CFG configs. It's something totally different, and that's why you're seeing on screen that it is completely undetectable. And on top of the Steam config situation, there's also other programs out there that we need to discuss. So after this video went insane, there were a lot of conversations in the comment section on this as well, like pro players saying we need to send this kid to jail. What in the F is this? No wonder MnK players don't touch the game anymore. Something's got to be done about this. Please don't let it go unnoticed, Apex. The Twitch streamer Fade says that this is demotivating. Scrappy says it's time to abolish Steam configs right now. YouTuber Otter mocks the controller community, saying that it's fair because MnK has their whole arm. We the people saying we need to give this guy the Toofy treatment. If you don't know what that means, means. Toofy was apparently given a cease and assist letter by Respawn and EA themselves after he was doing all of these crazy hacking hunts and chase downs of streamers where they was literally just torturing them, saying that if they actually tried to kill Toofy, that he would just rage cheat their lobby, and he avoids all the bans and everything, so it never really mattered. So basically saying that we need to get super serious with EA and Respawn getting involved and stopping this. But how much jurisdiction does EA and Respawn actually have over what's going on? Because remember, these are not game files. This is Steam library options, or your Razer software options, or your LG Hub options. They're not actually within Apex. Essentially, Steam has been the gateway with these options to allow for all sorts of crazy stuff. So yeah, it made sense back in the day because you were going in the game files and changing stuff, but that's not what this is anymore. So what could they actually even do? So I had a viewer named Jabadagabo that actually reached out and wanted to discuss what was going on because he has a massive IT background, knows a lot about this information, and has already been exposed and aware of what all of this stuff really is, and said it's been going on for over years and people have not discussed this. He's kind of surprised that it's just now coming to light, and that viewers, Twitch streamers, pros, and all of this, he's very surprised that they're just now figuring out about this because it is deeper than what you think. And he also says that they're only scratching the surface. There's a lot more that can be done. So you may remember some old superglide CFG videos back in the day where you could actually put this configuration file into your Apex that would allow you to do hotkeys and auto exec so that you can tap one key, your frames per second would go down to like 30 FPS. You hit the super glide easier, and then it goes back to automatic like 240 FPS. That's not what this is, and it's also a little bit deeper than just the simple like controller layout stuff that you could do with inside Steam. You see, these Steam controller setting options allow for more than just remapping. So the specific one that you saw with the Neo Strafe, the no recoil, all that stuff, it seems like you can actually bundle them into like a package kind of thing from the Steam library. And according to Jabadago, this public library that people are using for the no recoil scripts, the armor swap, and all that stuff is used by a lot of people. The numbers are public, but since this has been going on for quite some time, and yet a lot of the community members didn't even know about it, there are people trying to gatekeep it and actually sell this to people. So what exactly is going on? How does it work? And what are the reasons that you can actually bypass this whole ALGS rule thing? Like, why can pros get away with this if they wanted to? Because this could be a really big problem with like the semi-pro world, the challenger circuit, and as new pros come about the scene, they're just going to get accused of using and abusing these things more often. So as I sat down with Jabadagabo, I actually asked him what were these big concerns. Number one, it's been around and abused since Steam bindings were actually made available. Number two, Steam bindings is not just simply remapping. It allows you to execute macros and script sequences. And this is where we get into the big one. If you actually look at this video, you'll notice that there was a moment where he said the aim assist stays enabled while you're using the no recoil script. Well, why exactly is that? Well, the reason is because the no recoil script is actually not really like a no recoil per gun. It's just mimicking jitter aiming. And jitter aiming is obviously something that's been in the game for quite some time that gets rid of recoil, but they don't actually mimic jitter aiming using a mouse input. It's just simply mimicking random and crazy sporadic micro adjustments on your monitor coordinates. That sounds crazy, but it's the exact same method that they use for armor swapping. So essentially this stuff can read your screen. It can read like where things are on the screen. And so it just basically moves a little bit to the right, moves a little bit to the left, all of this stuff, and makes these automatic micro adjustments. And the same way that your armor swaps are normally at a specific coordinate on the death box, they can just go immediately to that coordinate, press A or whatever to armor swap, and immediately go out. That's how they execute them so fast. So because you don't actually have to use mouse inputs or keyboard inputs, it doesn't necessarily register as a mouse and keyboard, and it still stays as a controller, keeping that aim assist for you. That's why the rule has always been so out of whack, because it just says you can't really remap your controller buttons to mouse and keyboard things, but there's a way around that. So yeah, technically someone could use this in ALGS and it would not be against the rules. Now, of course, I think Apex would eventually come out and say, okay, you guys were obviously trying to get around the rules and this is still against the rules. We're going to make this a new rule. That's what I hope would happen, which is why I think we need more coverage over this so that people will actually begin to talk about it and Apex will eventually do something about it. Then number 4, people just aren't aware that they copied one guy's YouTube video over and over and never understood how to use the Steam bindings themselves. Number 5, anything that can be done on mouse and keyboard can be done on controller with Steam, and more with roller input. So I told you you that there was also some other things we need to discuss, like program wise. And the truth is, this is kind of a big problem for gaming in general, because it's not just controllers, it could be mouse and keyboard players as well, because LG Hub, Razer, and all these like program softwares for your mouse or keyboard, they all have their own like versatility of macros or, you know, recordings that you can do, sequences that you can run. We have really normalized a lot of DIY cheating things within other software programs and have said that they were totally fine, or we never really attacked them that much. And although I agree that the controller stuff that people are abusing is wrong, a lot of mouse and keyboard players have maybe been abusing things that they shouldn't have been in their own respective softwares. There were multiple arguments starting to go out over time as people would start to talk about how movement was technically an MnK thing, and now we're allowing it to be a controller thing, and it's not fair, all of this stuff. Well, Nui, another YouTuber who's brought a lot of coverage to like movement stuff over time, said that this is most certainly wrong. A ton of games are movement games that are controller games. Movement statistically is better on controller, and there's nothing you can do about it. Only reason it is better on MnK on Apex is because of lurch. Other than that, movement is normally better on controller because of the analog, and that's just simply how it works. Of course, this would get retweeted to say, someone explained to me why movement statistically is better on controller. And even TSM Raven, the coach over there, said movement is absolutely better on controller because you have 360 degrees of movement. FaZe Panders even says, I wonder how many pro controller players are using these Steam secrets. And then it started to go crazy. Of course, the people that have a burning passion for hating on controller players or hating on MnK players, I mean, they go at it like never before. Revengeful, another YouTuber, is already getting comments saying, oh, you play controller on PC, do you use these scripts too? Thankfully, I know how to play both. I feel like I need to go back so that I can save my dignity. At this point, I don't know what's gonna happen, man. ALGS needs to do something, Apex needs to do something, because even for the public match stuff, man, this just doesn't feel right. Let me know what you're thinking down in the comment section below. The more we talk about it, the more we will get a response from Apex as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Of course, like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date all things going on in the Apex Legends news world. Don't forget to check out Geology down in the comment section below. And until the next time, we'll see you all later, Gators.